Okay, let's go straight across to Arun Jaitley, Member of Parliament, Leader of the Opposition in the Rajya Sabha. I appreciate your joining us, Mr. Jaitley. As you heard there, Kapil Sibal describing you as arrogant in your demand that the Prime Minister will have to appear before a JPC. What is your response to that? This sticking point now of the Joint Parliamentary Committee, the Prime Minister saying, I'm ready to appear before a Public Accounts Committee. Why is the BJP insisting even now on a JPC?
Because the Public Accounts Committee cannot go into all these questions. Public Accounts Committee derives its jurisdiction from the report of the Controller and Auditor General. Every time there is a governmental transaction and the CAG goes into the matter, the CAG will comment on accounting issues. They'll make audit objections. They may also make comments with regard to the profit and loss and the reasons for the same. The Public Accounts Committee merely reviews, parawise the CAG, and its jurisdiction is no more. Now, is this whole issue which we have raised and the whole country is concerned with, is it an audit or an accounts issue? Is it only a profit and loss issue? Well, look at the magnitude of issues involved.
So, are you therefore saying, Mr. Jaitley, that you believe that the Prime Minister, by offering to appear before a Public Accounts Committee, is creating a smoke screen? That the opposition believes he still has something to hide? Because the PAC is headed by a BJP leader, Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi.
Well, it's not a question of who heads it. It's a question of what is the jurisdiction of the PAC. The PAC's jurisdiction is on accounting issues. Can the PAC go into a question that who decided that telecom must necessarily as a department go only to the DMK? Who decided whether within the DMK it must only go to Mr. A. Raja and to none else? Who decided that this policy should be framed in this manner and then it should be implemented in a fraudulent manner? Who is responsible for not listening to a single demand of the opposition for the last 3 years that such a monumental loss has been caused to the government of India? These are not auditing and accounting issues which I am raising.
So it's a political
debate. Look at what's happening elsewhere in the...
So it's a political... You're raising political questions and you want the Prime Minister to appear before the JPC? You want the Prime Minister to appear before the JPC? Look at the kind of disclosures which have been made. The health of almost every institution in Indian democracy has come into question. Now, is the Parliament going to be a mute spectator and abdicate its responsibility and say, I don't go into this question? The Parliament, through its committee, must look into it. And if that committee feels the Prime Minister is to be called, so be it. And if the committee feels he is not to be called, that's a different point of view. But the question is to merely say that Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. But Caesar's wife did say, I will only be investigated by Forum A and not by Forum B. Then if you are so clear in your conscience, be ready to appear before any forum. But Mr. Jaitley, the fact is there is a Supreme Court appointed probe which is going on into 2G. There are other investigations going on. The CBI has already summoned A. Raja today. Do you believe that a JPC will be a parallel inquiry that will only end up dealing the process? The country wants the guilty to be brought to book. It's not about the Prime Minister or a political debate.
Let me, Rajdeep, clear the confusion, at least, which is apparent that you have in your mind. The CBI is inquiring into the matter. It will only look into the criminal conspiracy and the culpability of people involved. A retired judge's inquiry inspires no confidence. Retired judges are not judicially trained to go into matters of what India's telecom policy should be. Now, therefore, let's come back to the facts. Were all these actions taken at the behest of corporate houses, at the behest of corporate lobbies? And what is the extent that they had infiltrated into the system, that they were influencing all these matters? Look at the magnitude and the voluminous evidence involved. These are not matters for either a Supreme Court retired judge or for the CBI to investigate, or for that matter the PAC.
Not even a Supreme Court
Parliament
probe.
Must look into it.
Not even a Supreme Court appointed probe. You believe that a Supreme Court monitored probe cannot have the same jurisdiction that a PAC can have, that a JPC can have.
Not.
That a JPC alone can raise these questions.
Let us not bring in the name of the Supreme Court and therefore fool ourselves that the jurisdiction of the CBI is enlarged. The CBI only looks into the criminality involved. The CBI does not look into the factor that India's cabinet formation is influenced by corporate lobbyists and business houses, that policies are framed by them, ministerial allocations are made at their behest. What is the health of various institutions? These are political issues which relate to the vitals of Indian democracy, and only the JPC and JPC alone can look into them.
But Mr. Arun Jaitley, you heard what Kapil Sibal said today. He said, who is the BJP to take the moral high ground on corruption? He cited specifically Tehelka, he cited Yediyurappa's case, he cited the petrol pump allotments. Do you believe you're handling Karnataka at the moment? Well, the BJP also needs to act. Just as the government needs to act against corruption, so do you.
Obviously, every party, corruption is an issue which is not relevant to one party or the other. Wherever it is, it must be tackled. But let me tell you, these kind of tactics which my friend Kapil Sibal and the others like him always resort to, if there is a focus on inaction of the Congress to issues of corruption, just deflect and go back 10 years or 20 years. I can go back to the manner in which the Bofors took place and the Kothrochi scandal took place. Today is not an occasion to discuss those issues. We are on 2G and the Spectrum case, where a huge monumental loss has been caused to the people of India, the public exchequer. And let Mr. Sibal not divert this issue. If he does it, I am not going to play ball with him in that
But don't you think that your anti-corruption campaign would have greater momentum if you acted against, let's say, Yediyurappa and allegations of land scam in Karnataka?
Well, if we are conscious of our responsibility, we are examining each one of those charges. There is a commission which is looking into those charges. If there is any other statutory agency which has to look into those charges, they could look into those charges. The final word on this has not yet been said, and therefore let us not rush to any assumptions as far as that matter is concerned.
Okay, Arun Jaitley, with the opposition's response to what the Prime Minister has said, appreciate your joining us here at the top of India.